Hey everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and we do have some new information on the second form of this new clan boss. It's looking almost definitely like it is a chimera right now. We're going to be breaking it down. I did do a collab, by the way, over on Scratch's channel. I'm going to link that down below. Make sure to jump over and check it out, where I was chatting with, there was me there, but we had Ash, we had MDG Jedi, Scratch, and Cold Brew, and we were chatting about all of this and what was going on. We are actually, believe it or not, when we were chatting about this, and all of the information on the second form, and there's another article, by the way, on this link, on the first form, the Viper form. All of this info is on hellhades.com. I've written it all up today. Funny enough, we are actually missing, I believe, in one of the passives down here. I think it's passive 3. I think we're actually missing. Yeah, no, this passive over here, passive 3. Yeah, the Unbreakable Focus passive. There's an active effect, and we were missing that. So there's another content creator out there. I don't know who it is. We're not sure. If you are that content creator and you've the missing part, let me know. I'll add it into the article as soon as we know. But yeah, this has lots of info. So, I mean, let's just take a quick spin through this. Again, check out the collab with the other guys as well to see sort of our opinions on this sort of stuff. We're chatting about the rewards that might come and so on. I'll break the article down very quickly. But look, number one, we've got a new buff, a new effect called Duel. Duel is basically a combination of taunt and provoke. So the boss does Duel to you. I am curious if there will eventually be a champion version. This is very much just a boss-only thing right now. But the boss will put a Duel on your champion, and it will always choose the champion with the lowest crit damage, and they will be in a duel. The boss will only directly target your champion, though most of its attacks are AoE anyway, but they will target that champion for sure, and they will do 50% more damage to that champion. So it's sort of like a taunt buff. They have to attack your champion, but they can fire off their skills, AoEs, no problem. Your champion that's targeted by the Duel, it's like a provoke. They have to attack the boss, and they can only use their default skill. So it's pretty bad. To end the Duel, you have to deplete the Duel bar. So it's like a Hydra Devour bar, but the Duel bar is only equal to 1% of the boss's max HP. So it's going to be quite a bit smaller, but bearing in mind it targets your champion with the lowest crit damage, probably like your support, I don't know, Sifi or something, not exactly someone who does a lot of damage. So I think this is going to mean that you will probably going to need like War Master, or be looking for supports that, I don't know, maybe have burns or poisons or something that lets them do a bit of extra damage with their A1. Definitely something to consider. Yeah, that's this new Duel effect, and it overrides, it has priority over Taunt and Veil and Perfect Veil and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. The A1, let's actually go through let's do A3 to let's go backwards for the sake of this. So the A3, because that's the order I think the boss will go, A3, A2, A1. A3 will attack one enemy. Before attacking, it changes any buffs positively affecting stats to -1. So increased attack becomes decreased attack. Strengthen becomes weaken, etc. Lots and lots of buffs, and then the boss will smack that one enemy. It would do more damage for every buff converted into a debuff, and then it will, if the damage dealt by this skill is equal to or greater than 20% of the target's max HP, it repeats the attack. So this one, it is actually a single target attack. Pretty nasty. You're gonna have to watch out for this, and I think that actually this will go on to the person that has the Duel. I think what you're going to want to do to survive this is you're going to want to have shields and ally protection. I believe those buffs do not have negatives. They only have positives, so it won't switch them into anything bad. You're going to definitely watch out for increased defense is a big problem, because increased defense gets turned into decreased defense, and then you're getting smacked hard. And then the fact that it repeats the skill as well, that can be pretty dangerous. So yeah, definitely something to watch out for. That is just a single target attack. Now the A2, this one is this one is a single target attack, but then it's an AoE. So it attacks one enemy. This is going to be your Duel target, then attacks all other enemies. Does more damage, 1%, for every 1% HP lost by the initial target up to 50%. Again, bearing in mind, it's going to probably target your Duel target, unless you've broken the Duel, and they're taking 50% more damage. It's probably going to hit them pretty hard, which will then power up its sort of splash attack, the AoE after. It puts a stun debuff on all enemies except the initial target for 1 turn, decreases the turn meter of all enemies except the initial target by 50% if the stun debuff was resisted or blocked, So, it basically AoE stuns everyone. If you block the stun or resist it, it pushes your turn meter back. And you can't... now, you can probably resist that as well, from the looks of it. You can probably resist the turn meter decrease, but you cannot block... but yeah, so you could actually... Yeah, you could actually resist it, which is pretty nice. It will then remove any block debuffs from all enemies, and finally puts decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage, decreased speed. I think the key thing with this is you probably do definitely still want block debuffs. Yes, it will strip the block debuffs off, but I think it's worth having on to prevent the stun. Your turn meter will be pushed back, but it's okay. Increased resistance could also be very strong here. I think increased resist could be good. Though you do have to make sure you don't get it turned into decreased resist by this move on your dual target. But yeah, it's interesting. Now, decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage don't really matter to most champions. Decreased speed sucks, but decreased crit rate, crit damage, not the end of the world. You can definitely survive with those. But yeah, the cleansers, again, potentially very strong. So it will do that. And then it will come into the A1. 2 hits at random. The first hit hits enemies under duel. The second hit, each hit, the second hit will be random. Each hit decreases target's turn meter by 50%. And if the target's turn meter is less than 50%, it also places a stun debuff for 1 turn. And this is the scary part. Grants an extra turn if a stun debuff was placed by this skill. I think this is really, really bad. I think the danger here is the boss can come in, push all of your turn meters back and strip off block debuffs, and then if you're not fast enough, especially with that decreased speed, if you don't take some turns, or if the way you take turns is bad, and then the boss pushes your turn meter back by 50% and stuns you, the extra turn up here, if a stun gets placed by this skill, the extra turn is absolutely lethal. The boss is going to really start to rotate through abilities. So I think it's going to be important that you have a good amount of turn meter, or you have enough turn meter, you have enough resistance to resist the turn meter drop, or you maintain block debuffs even after the boss tries to strip block debuffs off you. So either you replace block debuffs immediately, or you've got a protected block debuffs. Protected block debuffs is probably the easiest way to do it, right? If it's protected, the boss can't remove it. Great, the boss can't stun you. You've got block debuffs, and if the boss can't stun you, boss can't take an extra turn, and you're good. I think it's going to be very important. If the boss gets these extra turns, I think it gets real bad real fast. Yeah, that's basically the boss. Big single target hit in his A3, switching up buffs. The A2 is sort of this nasty one, trying to AoE stun you and strip your block debuffs and debuff you. And the A1 is, again, very dangerous, where he's going to hit your dual target and somebody else at random, pushes their turn meter back, and tries to stun them if they go low enough on turn meter. And that's very bad if he stuns them extra turn and things start to snowball. Now, we do have some other passives to watch out for here as well. Number 1, it has this metamorph. Again, we have no idea how this works, but it will turn into an ultimate form. Don't know how it works, but that's what it is. We have, another passive over here. This is where things get very spicy for choosing your champions. When it's under fear or true fear, the damage reduction from duel does not activate. I don't know if I mentioned this. Maybe I forgot. But when the boss is dueling with one of your champions, everybody else does half damage to the boss. That's pretty bad. And bearing in mind, duel, it says it even in fact down here, places duel on the new clan boss and the enemy with the lowest crit damage, right? And that does actually have a 5-turn cooldown, which is good. So you can break that. But that duel is very, very dangerous, right? It's going to make you do half damage to the boss, which is rough. You want to put fear on to stop that from happening. Great. When fear is on, you still have to deal with the duel effect. You still want to break the duel, but you can do full damage to the boss with your other champions. Unfortunately, the fear and true fear are not quite as strong. It reduces the chance of them activating. And then he gets 50% turn meter boost if he misses his skill because of fear or true fear. So, like, if he misses his skill because of fear, it's not really a big deal. Like, he misses his A3, the boss gets 50% turn meter, he can just go again. It's not great. True fear is a lot better. If he misses his A3, the A3 goes on cooldown from true fear, and he gets 50% turn meter, but it's not too bad. The skill's on cooldown. That's definitely something to watch out for. Anything else? Yeah, he also will cleanse them off after they activate. So, yeah, pretty scary. This also becomes scary. Passive 3, he reflects 25% damage back to the attacker unless you're under duel. Again, you know, duel's going on your lowest crit damage champion, so your damage dealer is getting full damage reflected back. That's very dangerous. He ignores 50% defense when attacking enemies under Taunt, Veil, or Perfect Veil. This one is quite weird because those buffs don't have any other interaction with the fight. It's quite odd. Maybe that ties into a different form of the boss. I don't know. But nothing about the Viper form, nothing about the Ram form has anything to do with Taunt, Veil, or Perfect Veil. So it just seems like just don't bring those buffs just cuz, basically. And then there's an active effect here, and I have no idea what this active effect does. Let me know if you're the content creator. And then this is the same as the Viper. Immune to all this crowd control stuff. This boss is immune to block active skills, but is vulnerable to fear and true fear. The Viper was immune to fear and true fear, but was vulnerable to block active skills, which is interesting. Poison damage is capped. War Master Giant Slayer is capped. Enemy max HP skills are capped. HP burns are capped. Smite from Brimstone is capped. It's the same as the Viper. So there you go. I need to just go in. I do need to update actually a couple of things on this. And I will update the article with that final bit of the missing passive when we go. But that's sort of a rough overview of the Ram. Lots of single target attacks coming in. Going to be smacking whoever has duel. So it's going to be important to have like a good dual tank, as it were. And I think you will want your dual tank to be able to, I think, to break the I don't know, maybe you're going to have someone just always stuck in duel, and then it's going to go on to your next person. I think he can reapply it every 5 turns, I think. He can reapply the dual effect. So that's the boss. He's pretty spicy, this new dual effect. I'm curious what you think about it. The biggest question, I mean, we talked about it. You can see we chatted all about it in the Scratch collab. How's this going to work? Do you fight multiple forms of the boss at the same time? Does it swap between the forms? You know, does it reset every day? Is it like you go for a week and you're going through the different forms? I don't know. We don't know how any of that stuff works for now. The Ram form, I think, though, looks pretty tricky. Yeah, I think the Ram form looks pretty tricky. You're going to need a lot of that single target healing to keep your dual target alive, or a lot of tankiness. You're really going to have to watch out for the block debuff strip, the AoE stuns, and the A1 extra turn stuff. That's really nasty. But yeah, a little bit of luck. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.